This is a presentation about the digital impacts on the adult learning experience. I will discuss several resources which consider the context in which e-learning occurs. My reference list will be at the end of the presentation. The three main topics I will discuss are the theoretical approaches to learning, the current state of e-learning, and what I suspect is on the horizon for these adult learners. There are numerous theoretical approaches I could list. Here are 6 of them. You can see, if you look at the dates, sort of a upswell of when discussing adult learning as a science became a little bit more popular, starting in the late 60s with Knowles, who coined the term andragogy, leading all the way to the early 80s, really the late 70s. But if you look here, actually all the way back in the 1800s, Dewey discussed project-based learning, where he proclaimed that an active exploration of real-world problems and presenting learners with actual challenges is what ends up helping them acquire this deep and useful knowledge that does not fade over time and is actually reinforced when they're introduced to new problems. We also have critical pedagogy, which Nevis in the 70s endorsed. He thought of it more like a social problem-solving style of education, and also believed that the empowerment and the ability to change one's life with their education was the true motivator behind learning. I do also happen to believe that is true. You may be familiar with experiential learning, which is a hard combatant in an e-learning environment. Are you really experiencing what you're only able to hear about or read about? These are the challenges the modern e-learner as an adult faces today. When we look and consider each of these approaches a little bit different, we can still find at the core this quote here I have on the screen: all learners use different assumptions, expectations, and beliefs to make sense of the world around them, and they are confronted with different obstacles, biases, and experiences that may prohibit them from advancing. This is something all adult online learners have in common, and why they persist despite the challenges we see today. Let's discuss the current state of e-learning. Simulating learning ought to be easier than ever before, given the advancements in technology to provide tools and access to so many people on the global scale. However, the process of delivering the instruction to the learners remains under-examined and far from perfected. Educational methods in both formal and informal settings are still, in many cases, beta phases, as mass communication and knowledge management collide into one unprecedented task. We see this with the rise of influencer education courses, where a completely unqualified facilitator creates and then sells these courses with no outlined goals, with no backed research, with no substance whatsoever, and is categorized as educational content. And people see through it, maybe after having purchased it. But we also have this alternative here, where learners seek out online communities of practice, or OCOPs, which are informal groups with shared goals or interests. And these self-directed groups identify and then solve problems as a collective, but they do so with the same proven motives of self and career betterment at the individual level. While criticisms for post-secondary online education are flooded with complaints of low engagement, OCOPs are the exact opposite. These individuals are highly engaged and instead lack qualified facilitators and formal structure. This overcorrection may key in to what the future of e-learning can look like. Despite the imperfections of current online learning, some students are finding this lush success as their attempts are rewarded time and time again by self-improvement in multiple areas. Some learners are simply primed to adjust to this style of learning that can't be explained by current research. It can be noted, but not duplicated. These self-directed learners see failures as opportunities. They delight in the challenge of delayed gratification projects. The unfortunate results, truthfully, are that these successes are not imitatable. One cannot carve a scholar out of an unmotivated student who seeks only instant gratification. If a student is not already cut from this cloth, then they will not benefit from current adult e-learning. As for what I predict on the horizon, the future of e-learning involves much less mass-produced course projects put out by underqualified would-be instructors and a more customizable learning platform. Learners will be able to clearly see the outline goals of learning opportunities as well as reviews or rankings or approvals from previous students that vouch for its validity, whether or not it's a legit course. And this way, they'll be able to build their own education timeline, seeing what's available, what's relevant to them. All these things the research tells us creates a motivated and engaged student. And the research shows that learning projects are pursued for highly practical reasons, very constructivist rationale, like ensuring a sound decision will be made, or to build something safely that offers convenience, to improve one's career path, or even as part of an interest like a hobby or a sport or family leisure. Low-quality entertainment clips, mislabeled as educational, will be flagged and called out and discarded, no longer an easy grab at AdSense dollars, and true learning will replace it. Here's my list of references as discussed in the beginning of this clip. And thank you very much.